Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is my last lecture on the physiology of the eye. In this lecture, I will discuss about the rods and cones and the rhodopsin retinal real cycle, one of the important topic in the eye. First of all, what are the rods and the cones? These are actually the photoreceptors. The human receptors consist of approximately 120 million rods and 6 million cones arranged side by side. The distribution of these photoreceptors varies across the surface of the retina. There are no rods, as I have told you in the previous lecture, in the fovea, and very few cones at the periphery where the rods predominates. Rods and cones, the name reflect their respective shape. Rods and cones and rod. Each photoreceptor consists of an outer segment which contains hundreds of thin plates of membrane that are also known as the lamina or discs. Each disc is actually enfolded shelf of cell membrane. There are 1000 discs in each rod and the cone. The outer segment is connected by the cilium to the inner segment which contains a nucleus. Rods are about 500 times more sensitive to light than cones, but cones give us the color vision. This is the diagram of the functional parts of the rod. First of all, here is shown the outer segment. Outer segment, it contains the large number of discs actually enfolded shelves of cell membrane. There are almost 1000 discs in each rod or the cone. Both the rhodopsin and the color pigments are conjugated proteins. They are incorporated into the membranes of the disc in the form of transmembrane proteins. The concentration of these photosensitive pigment in the disc are so great that the pigments themselves constitute about 40% of the mass of the outer segment. Next is the inner segment that contains the uveal cytoplasmic organelles. the important one is the mitochondria. That plays the important role in providing energy for the function of the photoreceptors. Next is the synaptic body. It is the portion of rods that connects with the subsequent neural cells, to the horizontal cells or the bipolar cells that represents the next stages in the glial chain. So we have the outer segment, inner segment, the nucleus and the synaptic body. The light sensitive photochemicals present in the outer segment of the rods is the rhodopsin. As I have already told you, in the cones it can be the one of the three color photochemical pigments that are known as the color pigments, that functions almost exactly the same as rhodopsin except the difference in the spectral sensitivity. Pigment layer of the retina. It is black pigment melanin that contains the melanin. It prevents light reflection throughout the globe of the eyeball. It helps in the clear vision. It stores large amount of vitamin K that is an important precursor of photosensitive chemicals of the rods and the cones. Vitamin A is exchanged back and forth through the cell membrane of the outer segment of the rods and cones. The pigment layer of the retina functions the same as we have in the black bellows of the camera. Without it, light rays would be reflected in all directions within the eyeball, and it would cause diffuse lightening of the retina rather than the normal contrast between the dark and the light spots that is required for the formation of precise image. Next is the albinism. It is characterized by the complete or partial absence of the melanin pigment in the pigment layer of the retina in the skin, hair, and the eye. And the people who are hereditary lacking this melanin pigment in all parts of the bodies are known as the albinos. Well, albinos enter a bright room light that impinges on the retina. It is reflected in all directions inside the eyeball by the unpigmented surface of the retina. What is the blood supply of the retina? It is by the central retinal artery that supplies the internal layers of the retina, which enters the eyeball through the center of the optic nerve, and it divides to supply the entire surface of the retina. Thus, the inner layers of the retina have their own blood supply independent of the other structures. However, the outermost layer of the retina is adherent to the choroid, which is highly vascular. So, outermost layer of the retina, especially the outer segment of rods and cones, depend mainly on the diffusion from the choroid blood vessels. Next, retinal detachment, as shown in this diagram. What is it? Neural retina occasionally detaches from the pigment epithelial, as shown in the diagram. Here is shown the retinal detachment. What can be the causes of this detachment? It can be injury to the eyeball that allows the fluid or the blood to collect between the neural retina and the pigment epithelium, caused by the contracture of the fine collagenous fibrils in the vitreous humor, which pulls the areas of the retina towards the interior of the globe. It can be partly because of the diffusion across the detached cap and independent blood supply to the neural retina through the retinal artery. The detached retina can resist degeneration for days, and it can become functional again if it is surgically replaced in its normal relation within the pigment epithelium. If it is not replaced soon, however, the retina will be destroyed and will be unable to function even after surgical repair. It is the medical emergency, so it should be treated immediately. Otherwise, vision can be lost. Next, we will study the photochemistry of vision, that is the rhodopsin retinal cycle and the excitation of the rods. The outer segment of the rod that projects into the pigment layer of retina has concentration of about 40% of light sensitive pigment known as the rhodopsin. This substance is combination of scotopsin and pigment known as the retinol. The retinol in this is the 11-cis retinol. This cis form retinol is very important because only this form can combine with scotopsin to synthesize the rhodopsin. What happens is, when light is absorbed by the rhodopsin begins to decompose within a very fraction of second. The cause of this photoactivation of electrons actually occurs in the retinal portion of the rhodopsin, which leads to the change of cis form of retinol into all trans form. It changes the cis form of retinol into the all trans retinol that has the same chemical structure as the cis form but have the different physical properties. Because of the three-dimensional orientation of the reactive sites of all trans retinol, it no longer fits with the protein scotopsin. So the all trans retinol begins to pull away from the scotopsin. So when the cis form of retinol changes into the trans form, it cannot attach with the scotopsin. So it begins to pull away from the scotopsin. The immediate product, the form is the beta-rhodopsin. Beta-rhodopsin changes in nanoseconds to the lumirhodopsin. That changes in the microseconds to meta-rhodopsin 1. That changes into the meta-rhodopsin 2. Also this meta-rhodopsin 2 is also known as the activated rhodopsin. that excites the electrical changes in the rods and cones and then transmit the real image into the central nervous system in the form of optic nerve action potential. Next, how the reformation of the rhodopsin takes place. The first stage in the reformation of rhodopsin is to reconvert all trans retinol into the all trans retinol into the all trans retinol into 11 cis retinol. This process required the metabolic energy and it is catalyzed by the retinol isomerase. Once the 11 cis retinol is formed, it automatically recombines with the scotopsin to form the rhodopsin, which is the stable until it decomposed once again by the absorption of the light energy. Next, what is the role of the vitamin A in the formation of rhodopsin? It is actually the second chemical route by which all trans retinol can be converted into the 11 cis retinol. How it occurs? This is by first the all trans retinol is changes into the 11 all trans retinol. Then in the presence of isomerase, it changes into the 11 cis retinol, that again changes into the 11 cis retinol. So the vitamin A provides the second chemical route by which the rhodopsin takes place. This vitamin A is present both in the cytoplasm of the rods and the pigment layer of the retina. So vitamin A is normally always available to form the new retinol when needed. When there is excess retinol in the retina, it is converted back into vitamin A, thus reducing the amount of light sensitive pigment in the retina. This was all about the cycle of the rhodopsin retinal visual cycle. These are the principal steps in the phototransduction. Light, when the light falls, there is activated rhodopsin, activation of the G protein, transduction by the opsin. G protein activation activates GMP phosphodiesterase that results in the decrease in cyclic GMP. Decrease in the cyclic GMP results in the closure of the cyclic GMP gated ion channels, mainly the sodium channels. That leads to the hyperpolarization. The things to mention here is the hyperpolarization or the depolarization, that is increased negativity inside the photoreceptors, so decreased secretion of the glutamate by the photoreceptors. Here again is shown the how the sodium works in photoactivation of the rods. This picture shows the sodium channels in dark and the light. As I have already told you that there is in the light there will be the closure of the sodium, sodium channel, so there will be the increased negativity inside, as in the light sodium channels are closed and in the dark cyclic GMP levels are high and the sodium channels are open. So in the light cGMP levels are reduced and the sodium channels are reduced and sodium channels are closer. So as the sodium channels are closed, no positive ions can go inside, and this will cause to the hyperpolarization of the rod. This is again the repetition or the phototransduction in the outer segment of the photoreceptors take place when the light hits the rhodopsin. This is repetition of the previous slide. When the light falls, it activates the transduction and that leads to actually the activation. This picture shows how the sodium channel works in the presence of the light and in the darkness. As I have already told you, in the light there will be the closure of the sodium channel as the cGMP level decreases, and in the presence of and in the darkness this level rises and there will be the opening of the sodium channels, so increased positivity inside. So there is the hyperpolarization in the light and depolarization in the darkness. Next, what is the receptor potential? When sudden impulse of light strikes the retina, there is the transient hyperpolarization that occurs. This is known as the receptor potential. It reaches a peak in about 0.3 seconds and lasts for more than a second. In cones, the change occurs 4 times as fast as in the rods. Another characteristic of the receptor potential is that it is approximately proportional to the logarithm of the light intensity. This is exceedingly important because it allows the light to discriminate light intensities through a range many thousand times as great as would be possible otherwise. Next, night blindness. It occurs by the vitamin A deficiency. Retinal and rhodopsin found in the absence of vitamin A are severely depressed and insufficient. As I have told you in the retinal cycle, that is vitamin A is the second route for the formation of rhodopsin. When it is absent or low, there will be the low rhodopsin level of the rhodopsin. So the amount of light at night is too little to permit adequate vision in the vitamin A deficient person. This dietary deficiency of vitamin A occurs in months. Recovery in night blindness can take place in less than 1 hour by IV vitamin A injections. This was all about my today's lecture.